Good evening, friends. Today's gospel is in the 21st chapter of Luke, and it is the poor widow's contribution. And so sometimes when we give at the collection plate, it's not about how much you give, but the percentage that you're giving. And so I read, when he looked up, he saw some wealthy people. This is Jesus. They're on the outskirts of the temple, and there's an area where you can distribute your offering. Rich or poor alike, everyone was obligated to pay the temple tax. And he says, he noticed a poor widow putting in 2 small coins, and he tells his apostles and disciples, I tell you truly, this poor widow put in more than all the rest, for those others have all made offerings from their surplus wealth, but she, from her poverty, has offered her whole livelihood. He then talks about the destruction of the temple and the signs of the end times. And so this is in a public setting. There's people going back and forth. There's very, very metropolitan area. People are going to the temple. They're offering sacrifice. People are offering the tax, temple tax. And the poor widow grabs Jesus' attention because it's an opportunity for him to teach. And he tells his disciples, those who were present, that she, although poor, gave more than the rich, who gave from their surplus wealth. And it teaches us something very important, that it's not about the amount, it's about the percentage. What are you giving? Is it $20 on Sunday, or is it $50? How much do you make a year? How much do you make a month? And if you think about how much that is, and you think about the poor widow who gave 2 pennies, and yet that was her whole livelihood because it was 100% of all her money. That's why she was also poor, but she obviously lived that life. Maybe she begged. Maybe somehow that was all that she had, and yet she still was faithful and to the tithes of the time. So there was laws you can read in Deuteronomy and Leviticus about giving. How much do you give from your surplus? How much do priests give? How much do priests give? There was a lot of unique situations that in the Pentateuch call for how much one is supposed to give. Even if you're poor, there was certain, you could get by with buying a certain, like a turtle dove. If you were wealthy and you were offering sacrifice, you were obligated to have an unblemished lamb. And so there was a lot of variables when it came to giving and giving alms, and to the collection plate, and giving, from the contribution that we're all obligated to. It is good to give to charity. I recommend to all to at least give something. In some faiths, it's 10%, where others it's a little bit less. And in the Catholic faith, we don't have a percentage. We allow the giver and those parishioners who can give to pray about it. Give from your conscience, and don't be too frugal in a sense, but give that's meaningful. Only you and God can know what that is. If you have a lot of obligations and lots of children and so forth, and financially you're a little bit strapped, give what you can and pray. If you have excess surplus wealth and maybe you're a bachelor, maybe you make a lot of money and you can afford to give from your surplus wealth, I think it's easy to say, give what you can, but it might be good to give past your comfort zone, is what I tell people. Give a little bit, give till it kind of hurts and makes you uncomfortable, and then stop, and that's good enough. That's what I used to do. It's what I do when I give. I give what I'm comfortable giving, what I know I can give, and then I try to give a little more, and then I know that I satisfied, being charitable and taking care of those who are in need. So a lot of my gifts and donations that I give, charitable works I participate in, are with Catholic Relief Services and Mary's Meals. Those are my favorite two. And sometimes there's mission work in the church throughout the year, and the Holy Land especially during Lent and Passion Week. And then giving to retirement, like the religious retirement account in the United States. I think that's in the Advent and Christmas, I think. Either way, all of us should be giving to some degree. Practicing the virtue of charity means practicing it to a degree. If you make $100,000 a year and you're only giving $5 on Sunday, you could squeeze a little more out of your wallet. The average giving from parishioners, from people, it's not 10%, I'll tell you that. And it's not even 5%. It's like 1.5%, or at least that's the last number I heard several years ago when I was a pastor, was the average giving of a Catholic home was about 1.5%. We also don't require, as some Christian faiths do, some denominations require you give your tax return, and they take an automatic 10% out of that. And some, I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but they require you to auto withdrawal and stuff. So there's all kinds of systems out there. This is the one from Scripture. This is the one that teaches us it's not about how much you give, it's about how much from your livelihood are you giving? What percentage? Is it from your surplus wealth? Jesus saw this one person out of all the people coming and going, and he says, hey, you see this right here? She gave more than all of them put together because she gave 100% what she had. So think about what you can give. And it's okay if you can't, pray. I always tell folks, if you can't give, don't worry about it. God has lots of money. But if you can, you could participate and be in solidarity with those who do give and help those who have nothing. All money is a tool. It's just a means to an end, and it's nothing more. It's something that you shouldn't grasp on and obsess about or hoard. Otherwise, you fall into sin of greed and idolizing mammon, thinking that all that you have, you don't have to give, and so forth, which is contrary to the gospel. Jesus teaches us that we all should give and help those who are in need, because there are many, many people who don't have anything. So God bless, and give a little bit this weekend. Give a little more at the Sunday plate.